Arbitrary of beauty.
Right, exactly. And then but there's just no room for kids to do that type of stuff now.
Well, yeah, and
If you
the
wear
amount
all
of
black,
experimenting.
black, you get, you're put on meds. Like, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It's been.
There's no room for experimentation with identities. You can't collide and combine and switch.
It's
because of the politics behind
exactly,
identity.
and it's a very I've often said it's kind of a cultural science. And just, I mean, maybe being provocative and garish in that way is just not is
maybe
passe.
the visually provocative is no longer provocative.
Yeah, I mean that's a completely acceptable thing. I do find it hard to believe that the visually provocative may be manifesting itself in young women just not wearing anything, being, that's fine too. That's really fine. But it strikes me as strange that we're not seeing. I know this is a loaded word, but the sort of cultural tribes, the sort of as much as people say, the sort of stereotypes of school and how people socialize. At a certain point, you learn more about yourself when you belong to different groups, whether you're a part of multiple groups or whatnot. That I could function as a theater geek, as a hardcore chick, as a this, as a that, as a quarter Armenian crazy girl. Like all of those. I figured out who I was because I was the intersection of all those things. But if you're not allowed to, if those groups aren't allowed to manifest, nobody's allowed to be part of them. Nobody's allowed to get to know them too.
I wonder almost though if it's not a case of if kind of in the blasé kind of anthropology beaten to death sense that culture isn't dead in that sense, that no longer is it about being visually provocative of this different sort.
Yeah,
it's about using the discourses from them. It's about talking as a theater geek and looking like a pro football player. Which, I mean, most theater guys do look like that because they're ripped, because they have to be, or to do a lot of the stuff. But almost, if you can be visually one identity and utilize the discourse from another.
So do you think it's just the sort of how the social interaction is a lot more elevated than it might have been? Is that what you're saying?
I almost wonder if that's the case, and that looks become less important as much as the discourse that you utilize.
Cool. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping. Is it just literally like I always assume